Hi folks, it's Jadicorn. I haven't made a video in ages. I just decided to talk and not worry about how I look at all. And I was inspired by Suzanne Chang and Sadhguru and his video How Your Mind Constructs Reality, which I watched. And they just talk and don't care. They don't care what people think of them. It's inspiring. I'm in Angelo DeLulo off the Simply Always Awake channel's retreat, but I wanted to make a video and I was going to be nervous about it until I made it, so I decided to just make it now. I've been meditating every day for an hour or two in preparation for the retreat, and it's been making interesting stuff happen in my mind that I won't go into any detail in, but it's pretty interesting. And I'm following the Awakening curriculum, which is a YouTube channel with videos for all of the 10 fetters from Theravada Buddhism. And there's actually a sutra that describes the 10 fetters, but I haven't actually read it. I've just watched some of the videos. I'm currently up to the 7th fetter, which is about something from nothing, how everything in your mind is actually something from nothing. And it's pretty weird. Yeah. During the retreat, I watched a Q&A where there was a guy who had broken the 8th fetter, and it accidentally started breaking my 8th fetter as well, which is where you realize the first fetter is where you realize that there's no separate self, but the 8th fetter is when you realize there's no anyone. There's not even the cosmic mind, or Brahman, or God. I've kind of realized that now. I used to believe that everyone was part of the cosmic mind, and it was this infinite mind that had all possible experiences, including infinitely bad ones. Or finitely bad ones, but with no limit to how bad the finitely bad experiences can get. Because there's no such thing as infinity, but there's no limit to how high numbers can get, or how low. And I also read the descriptions of the fetters on that channel, and because I really want to become enlightened, because it's important, and I'm probably still suffering in some kind of way. But I used to really suffer. I used to have depression, and it was just awful, but I got out of it with meditation, amongst other things. And so anyway, I started seeing the 10th fetter, which is when you realize that you can't actually know anything. Although maybe you can know things. Maybe you can't even know the fact that you can't know anything. Because I'm pretty sure I know some things. And I went to Josh's satsang and talked about the 7th fetter in a very serious way, completely different to this video. And it was like, that video is on YouTube as well. It was today, so you can find that video if you want to see more of me because I'm so amazing. That's sarcasm. And it's true, I am amazing. But anyway, I also have watched the videos for the earlier fetas, and for some reason the fifth feta is where they introduce Liberation Unleashed, which is a quite good way to figure out the first feta. I downloaded their book Gateless Gatecrashers. I didn't go on the forum, but I downloaded their book and I read the first chapter, and it was like, there's a body and a mind and maybe a soul, and there's supposed to be this, you think there's this other thing above all that has those things and is you, but actually, when you think about it, you really can't figure out what that other thing that's you is supposed to be, because it doesn't exist. I joined a Unitarian Universalist church in New Zealand, possibly the only one actually, and no, I don't think it's the only one. I attended their service today, and it's about Matariki. I didn't have anyone to celebrate Matariki with, but now I have. It's a festival in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and a public holiday for the last few years. Matariki is the Pleiades star cluster, is the Maori name for it, and Matariki is celebrated as Maori New Year on the day that the Matariki star cluster becomes visible in New Zealand. And we honour the people who died in the past year that we knew. Although I luckily haven't had anyone die in the past year. And it's also probably lucky that I haven't died, because I have no idea what would happen if I died. There's more evidence than you think that there's actually an afterlife. There's evidence outside of religion. There's near-death experiences, there's shared death experiences, there's visions of dead people that old people in hospice have. I watched a video about explaining all this. There's UFOs, there's lots of things. And I've been worshipping Lord Ganesha, and also worshipping demons, and wearing crystals, although you can't see them right now. Not because they're invisible, but because I'm not wearing them. They're somewhere else. And yeah. I don't actually know if I believe in any of that stuff, but it's fun to worship them anyway. And I rock my head because I'm autistic, so there. I'm allowed to. It's perfectly fine. And I might as well mention that I am a fat transsexual in my 30s, because you could probably guess all that anyway, and I feel better saying it out loud. I've actually done some non-paid startup work for my friend Kent's startup, EpicQuest Biotechnology, epicquest.bio. The work I did most recently is that I trained a neural net to understand open source nanopore data. And you can find a link to that work on epicquest.bio and click the RLMF page, Reinforcement Learning by Molecular Feedback. Awkward silence is awesome. Actual enlightened people just have all these awkward silences in their videos, and that's part of how you know they're enlightened. But I'm not enlightened. I might be like 20% enlightened, maybe. I watched this YouTube video of a homeless guy traveling America who quit his job and just traveled America on his bicycle because God apparently told him to. And I was like, there's nothing else like this. It's so amazing. And I really wish I could find that channel again because I can't figure out where it was, and searching for it doesn't find it. It's too obscure. I'm going to go on the benefit next week, probably, because my day job doesn't pay enough money to not go on the benefit. And it's going to be good not having to work. I'll still work a bit, but I won't earn 100% of my money by working, and that's going to be more comfortable. I bought some modeling clay. I don't have my models with me right now, but I bought some modeling clay. I'm also doing neurodynamic breath work, which you can find on the internet as well. It's been quite enlightening, as it were, and one of the creative integration workshops recommended that you do art because it relieves stress and puts you in contact with your inner guiding intelligence. And so I decided to buy some modeling clay to just get out of my mind. Not like out of my mind, like on drugs or something, but to get out of my mind. I also experiment with Ableton Live occasionally. I bought a moderately luxurious version of Ableton Live, and I made a quite cool piece of music that you can also find on my channel, and I played with it again and made a different piece of music, but I haven't finished it, so I haven't put it online. Ableton's pretty good because you can synthesize music just by tapping here, 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 and here to on a grid where the x-axis is time and the y-axis is note. So you don't even have to learn to play the piano like you would with a regular synthesizer. I tried learning the piano, but it's kind of boring and annoying, and I don't find playing music that interesting. I just like making new music. And some people spend years learning to play music and never make up any music of their own. I just don't see the appeal. That's like learning how to write how to copy code from a textbook without learning how to write your own programs. I mean, who would ever do that? I sometimes use AI to write my code, and it helps me with my nanopore experiments as well. I used to watch geopolitics videos all the time before this week when I started preparing for a retreat. it seemed really important to know what was going on in the world, but they're all pretty dramatic. They're all saying the Iran peace deal is over and there's going to be a global depression due to inflation and bond prices rising and the stock market crashing. And it's just depressing. You don't want to fill your days with stuff like that. I don't even watch the news anymore because it's just too depressing. They only focus on recent bad events and not long-term positive trends or even recent positive events. Apparently there's this company called, I think it was R1 Bio, that is going to make whole human bodyoids. They claim they're not going to do it, but the leak says they are. And a whole bodyoid would have everything except the brain, and you could figure out how to cure diseases in an actual human body without having to do animal studies. So it's both more ethical and will work a lot better. You could even figure out how to grow new organs, which is going to be really fun for trans people and useful for old people. It would probably accelerate anti-aging research as well. I'm keeping up with that. I'm a transhumanist. And yeah, that's good enough. That's all I feel like saying today.